Hi, I'm Matt Burns. Today is April 29th, and I thought I would just make a video to talk about my feelings. I've been watching the Theo Von podcast recently, and I've seen Theo Von a couple times. Sorry, it's hot as shit in here. I gotta roll on these windows. I've been watching the Theo Von podcast lately, and I found him to be an interesting guy, and I find his guests to be interesting. And I think it's interesting how he can talk to anybody like he's their friend or he's known him a while, and he really doesn't bring any negativity to the conversation. And I feel like if he brings any slight amount of negativity, it's actually normally about his own feelings that he's struggling with or something like that. It's rarely ever like against somebody. But basically I've been watching his podcast and I've been thinking, like, I think one of the things about me as a person is that I talk to most people like they're a lifelong friend. I'm not sure why. It's just how I talk to people, and it's the easiest way for me to talk to people. So I felt like I could do something by recording my life and my experiences day to day as a almost 26-year-old guy living in the Midwest, and trying to make something out of life. So I'm just going to talk, and I'm going to use some of the points that I have written down on my laptop here that I sort of daydreamed about earlier. So today's Today's April 29th. It's hot, it's overcast, and I'm in my car, and it's too hot. I'm 25 years old, and in 2 weeks I'll be 26. I graduated from college after 7 years of undergrad for a music education degree, which I had initially intended on using in like a public school choir program or something, but I ended up beginning to teach private lessons to like young piano students, mostly kids, and some of their parents. But that's where my life is right now. And I basically do that when kids get off school at like 3:30, and then I spend a couple hours with different kids each night, and just give piano lessons. And I try to be as fun as I can with it. But yeah, as I've been building out my life ever since I graduated college, I feel like I've just run into more life situations. Of course, I'm getting older. Not that I'm old, but I'm growing up, so it should be expected that I'm facing some life experiences. But I just wanted to talk about where my life is at right now and how I view things at my current age. So maybe when I'm older, I can reflect on it, or somebody could reflect on it now and think about how it is in relation to their life. So I just marked down a couple of things under struggles of growing in society. So the first thing I put was financial stability. I'm a piano teacher, and I actually make good money per hour, but it's hard to build up enough hours to make a full-time living because most of my students are kids, and they don't get off school till like 3:30, and it's not like I'm going to have lessons after 7:30 or 8 at night. So there's really only like a 5-hour window max after school to be able to work with kids. So I'm trying to work into working with adults, and then maybe contracting out teachers as I get older and become more experienced in teaching, so that there can be more teachers getting paid to teach, and there can be more students learning, and everybody enjoys music more. So it is tough because during the day I work somewhere else, which actually I get a ton of free time. It only pays $15 an hour, but I have more free time than I have time working on things. So I want to use it spending time doing things like this, or building out my life and lesson planning, or scheduling my day and things like that to make sure that the rest of my life is in order. So right now I work about 30 hours at that job, and then I have about 20 hours of piano students whose homes I go to. But I'm still not making enough money to really, really survive well in the city. And I do get some help from my parents still, and I don't want that anymore. So I would like to build out more things for myself and more opportunities for myself to not be dependent on anybody, and also to provide, hopefully, for my parents and for, my relationships going forward. My relationship going forward. Some other thing I put down was social and emotional stability. So on paper I work like 50 some hours a week, and I enjoy what I do, and I think my days are pretty balanced. But when you work that long, it is hard to balance full-time relationship where you're living with your partner, and then like balancing that along with like both my parents are around and wanting to see my parents or my grandma or somebody, and having time for that, and then having time for friends, and then having time for my own self. It can be a pretty tough challenge, and I find that everybody in my age bracket seems to be in that boat where it's like you are lucky to get, I don't know, an opportunity a month to spend with your friends that isn't just like a normal night, or like somebody that you see at the gym, or somebody that you see because your lives are more built together in that way. So that's something I want to build for my life, and it's something I think we should like look forward to as a society. The podcast today I saw with Theo Vaughn was with Mark Zuckerberg, and you can have your opinions about Mark Zuckerberg, but one of the things he says that he's looking forward to is a time when, because technology has advanced, people don't have to spend the time doing drudgery or other things that are wasting away from the actual experience of having a good time in life. And at least that part of the sentiment I would hope to have happen. I hope that as we get older and technology advances, we have less time to worry about insignificant things, and have more time spending good quality time with friends and family. But our society is not built around that. Our society is really not built around the tenets of a healthy life, like spending time with each other and living a healthy life from a physical perspective, which obviously trickles down into the mental perspective, which we've started talking about, but we just aren't a society built around that health. And I hope as people we can come together and work towards that, and the only way I can do my part is by trying to do that for myself and for the people around me. So I have all these fears and concerns about life and things that I'm thinking about life, and I have a hard time. I've always been a dreamer, and I've not been very good about putting things together into actionable plans. Probably the most successful thing I've done is learning instruments, but to me there's like a process that is very, very cut and dry and fun to learn an instrument, and I did that when I was younger, and when I was a kid, and I feel like I'm just now, as I'm getting older, trying to find ways to implement that idea of a process into the rest of my life. And really the only way I can do that is with scheduling, with constant alarms, and with a plan for the future that I have mapped out in front of me, even if that might not actually be how things are going to go. So I have some bullet points here that I had, like building long-term goals. I have this really big laptop tablet thing, and I've got a pen for it and everything, so I can write down, actual things instead of typing. And so one of the things that I have down is just building out long-term goals, like maybe 2-year goals, 3-year goals, whatever. I know that's very cliche, but I've really never done it before. And on top of that, I've never broken those goals down. And something I'm trying to get good at now is mapping out every single day of mine, because I have a lot of free time and I need to use it well. And actually I mapped out some stuff for tomorrow. I had mapped out a schedule for today as well, and this was part of the schedule to do this video, and sadly it turned it into text. But instead of the writing I had. I'm sure I'll be able to turn it back. So I have tomorrow, I get to my daytime job at 8. During that time period, like I said, there's a lot of free time. I have 9:30. I need to spend at least 10 minutes doing some Korean Duolingo. My family's from Korea, and it would be important for me to learn the language. My mom's from Korea, and I never learned it growing up, and it would make me more marketable as a person, but also I would just have a good time learning Korean and fulfilling that part of my life, that familial side of my life. So yeah, I just need to put the time in to learn it. And of course I can talk to my mom. She'll speak to me in Korean. She just wasn't comfortable with it when I was a kid. I have half an hour tomorrow. I'm writing letters for my students and their families to talk about the progress leading into the summer and what we can do moving forward to make sure they're having a good time and sounding good too. I have here, play a half hour of Beat Saber. So I'm trying to lose some weight, and I have a VR headset with Beat Saber on it, and I have free time, so I'm trying to pour some time into that. I try to put about an hour a day into that. It's not the most efficient cardio, but it's fun, and I can do it when I have dead time at work, so it's a win-win. I have vlog planning for a half hour, whatever this is. I want to do more of it, and I have that planned in. I have 15 minutes of free time where I can just do whatever I want, and I can decide then, and if I want to like doom scroll for 15 minutes, whatever. I have, during my lunch break, I can eat pretty quick, so I have written down nap or relax. Like, I like to turn the lights off because I find that my brain gets to be too congested, and I start thinking about all the different things to do, and I'm mapping out every 30 minutes. I have alarms going off all the time. My brain's always like going on to the next thing, and one of the things I need to build into my day is just chilling out. I know one of the things my girlfriend and I have talked about as we've been together longer is like, we're not always going to have free time to ourselves in the day. Once we get home, if I get home at 7:30 from lessons, or 8 if I pick up groceries, and then go to the gym and it's almost 10 o'clock, and then I still got to eat dinner, there's no way that I'm going to have alone time and spend time with my girlfriend and do all the things I need to do and have that, I don't know, even 15 minutes of chill time to myself. And so I want to try to find that in other places in my life, even if I don't have the time during the evening. That way I can have that energy devoted to my girlfriend or to things that I want to devote it towards when I get off of work. Let's see here. I've got, written in to film this type of video again tomorrow. Hopefully much shorter. I want to create like a daily vlog sort of thing, a daily journal more, because I don't really want to vlog, but I would like to talk and see if anybody else has similar thoughts, or just hopefully get out my thoughts into video, into audio, and be able to reflect, or maybe when I'm like 90 on my deathbed, my freaking 10-year-old great-grandson can look at this video and be like, who's that guy? And but so let's see here. I have some time written in to like write little letters to my girlfriend, or edit the videos that I'm gonna make, and sort of all of these are based on this like 3-year or something plan that I made up that I also wrote out on this. And I think that as time goes on, I want to build out more of these things to take an active look at my life, and hopefully other people can find ways to connect it to their life through scheduling or doing whatever it is, and actually seeing the process instead of seeing somebody tell you, hey, I was poor or something, and then I did these like 10 things over the course of 10 years and became not poor anymore, or whatever part of their life they were figuring out, they got in shape, whatever. I just kind of want to do it and post it, and hopefully other people can find the inspiration, or maybe not inspiration, but the building blocks of how to build that out. Because I related a lot with like particularly learning music. Everybody, when they hear about somebody who's learned music, there's a lot of people who will say, I just don't have it in me, I wasn't born with it. And for me personally, of course, people have personal aptitudes and things they were sort of like destined to be good at, but I also believe that anybody could learn an instrument. And in the same way that anybody can build that process to learn an instrument, I believe that we could do anything. We could, get really strong in the gym. The more I'm in the gym, the more I think it's just like playing an instrument. It's just something you devote yourself towards. And, if you're worried about doing the right thing all the time, you'll probably never get into the gym, just like you'll probably never practice if you're worrying about doing the right thing all the time. And so you sort of learn as you go, and then, I want to take all these things and build those habits into the rest of my life. So that's really what all this is about. And in my time, I want to talk about things that I feel about life and people, or things that happen in my day that I feel like reflect something about society that hopefully other people could think about, or we could reflect on together. I feel like there's not enough time spent with people talking about these sort of things, so maybe somebody would have time in the car to turn something on and listen to it. But yeah, it's enough rambling. I got enough written down. Hopefully you felt like I talked to you like a person, and hopefully this video helps you out in some way. Hopefully I'll be posting more, and we'll see. I'll try my best. Have a good one.